Number 10. Shaking Chandelier. This video was posted on Facebook in August 2011 by a young girl in Norway. The disturbing video received about 4,000 shares as well as over 100,000 views on a YouTube upload. Two teen girls were sitting at a dining room table with their fingers on a homemade Ouija board. The board was drawn in more of a circular pattern, which isn't unusual with homemade or makeshift boards. The girls are speaking a Norwegian or similar language, so I can't determine what's being said, but they begin to ask questions at the quarter or planchet, which responds immediately. They remove their hands from the board, a little scared and uneasy. The blonde girl to the right pours herself a glass of soda as they quietly converse. As soon as she sets her glass down and attempts to return to the board, the glass glides over the table quickly, almost falling off. Everyone is understandably shocked. They walk around and talk things over while visibly emotionally affected. Eventually, they all come back to the table and continue their game, using the creepy event to fuel the energy. They don't play for much longer before stopping to fearfully discuss the game. Eventually, they hear a slight tap, and the chandelier hanging above the table begins to shake violently. The girls scream and run to another room. Number 9. Clear Control. This video was posted by Dorset Ghost in July 2015. The description explains that during an investigation, things began to go horribly wrong, and one of the crew members apparently became possessed. This particular upload starts in the middle of the investigation, with one member saying, "We don't want you to harm us. Please spell out your name." The camera begins to move automatically, although it's unclear whether it moves due to the wind or because of paranormal activity. The investigator to the right becomes more and more unsettled as his breathing increases, and he appears to shake and twitch. The camera is knocked over, and when footage resumes, the investigators have switched sides. As the investigator's hand is still on the planchet piece, he instructs the entity to leave this realm. Several lights are then disabled, and the piece begins to swirl around the board with strength.
Leave this realm. Please leave this realm.
The movement abruptly stops, and the footage ends here. Number 8. Original footage. This video is admittedly hard to keep up with. The video is original footage from 1999 that was sent to a random station with no further information included. The quality is understandably low and glitches out several times. A general summary is that there's a group of what appear to be several teens drinking, chatting, and playing games. One of the games that gets pulled out is the Ouija board. Well, things are fine at first, and after playing with the board, the group returns to drinking. A few clips pass and the doorbell rings. One boy, as well as the cameraman, go to check the door, and no one's there. At first, it seems like a case of ding-dong ditch, but as they're standing at the door, the bell begins to ring over and over again. The lights flicker, and the camera glitches severely.
Doorbell's date. Jesus Christ!
After the terrifying accident, the group comes together to discuss what happened. Loud knocks can be heard from somewhere in the distance. One boy steps forward to the camera and addresses the noise, saying he believes in the paranormal, and he's horrified. The group travels through the house in several chopped up clips, trying to locate the noise, but every time they're in one location, the sound can be heard in a different place. The group even attempts to climb into the attic before the doorbell rings again.
Listen, they'll come again now. See, you hear that? And again? So, audience, whoever you are watching this, right now, I'm pretty much believing this house is haunted, and I'm pretty much believing we're experiencing it, yeah? A ghost situation.
They find a friend outside and assume that he's the one who's been doing it all along. But he explains that he's just arrived and inquires about what's going on. He seems genuinely concerned as he follows them into the house and listens to their story. Once they're all inside, the doorbell and knocking begins again. Another sound can be heard which sounds like scratching or clicking.
What the f*** is that? What the f*** is that? Jesus Christ, do you hear that? Yes, I hear it. I hear that, like. I just want to go, like, but
it's hard to make out with this old and low-quality audio. The lights flicker before going out, and the group can be heard saying, "Let's get out of here." The tape ends without further explanation. Number 7. BuzzFeed. This video was, strangely enough, posted by the well-known BuzzFeed video channel back in November of 2015. While nothing particularly terrifying happens in this video, it's an important piece of evidence when discussing just how easily the Ouija board can change people's minds and manipulate their emotions. The group of 3 employees ask the usual questions like, "Is anyone here? Are you evil? Or do you want a treat?" When the plancha quickly moves to goodbye, the group discusses how uncomfortable they feel with the ordeal. As the piece moves faster, the players become even more unsettled and fearful. The board answers the question of whether it's a bad spirit by moving to no. The group is visibly scared from the results even though they admitted to not believing in the Ouija board before. Number 6. Shane Dawson and Psycho Soprano. These 2 very famous YouTubers came together to experiment with the spooky Ouija board. As they're introducing themselves and the content we're about to see, Psycho Soprano, also known as Colleen, explains that she had an experience with the paranormal before, and she even saw demons on 2 separate occasions. She also shared a story about a time when she stayed in a cabin and was physically attacked by a dark demonic entity. She went on to explain that a very old man later approached her now husband to tell him that he had the power to travel through portals and knew what happened to her. This all became a little too real when the Ouija board spelled out "saved" in reference to Colleen. As they continue to play, Shane expresses that he feels a presence in the room. Later, when the board spells out Stacy, Shane admits that the presence he had felt was a female presence, and he even predicted the name in his mind before playing with the board. Everything that happened in this video has a very underhanded sense of terror, and the idea that Colleen had previous experience with spirits and Shane admits to being able to sense vibes is a little more chilling. In this video, they also use an audio recording app to try to capture any voices. They do admit to hearing something, but don't clarify what they know. Number 5. Man attacked by demon. This video was uploaded by an account called Sin Jackson in January of 2009. The video begins with a man in an office who introduces himself as Jackson Combs. He also introduces his friend Stacy and explains that they're going to do some scary stuff tonight. Another woman arrives shortly with the top portion of a pizza box when they draw out the template of a Ouija board. The video begins with laughing as they mess up the lettering and treat the game as a joke. Later in the video, the trio are sitting in a circle in a random bedroom. They find a shot glass to use as the planchette and get right to asking the common questions. Is anybody here?
K. K. R. L. Kill. Take this.
Stop.
Number 4. Possessed woman. This video is perhaps one of the most popular on the internet when it comes to Ouija board encounters. The video shows 3 or 4 girls in a dark, candlelit room. They're either rubbing the glass over the homemade Ouija board or perhaps a spirit has taken control. Merely seconds into the video, a dark-haired girl in a white top begins to breathe slowly and even growl. She looks at the girl beside her and grabs her arm as she growls, contorts, and starts to bleed from her mouth.
Are you okay? Bathard, oh my god! Bathard! 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 What's wrong? Get rid of it! Bathard! 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 Are you okay?
Her friend manages to calm her down, and the video ends with her sobbing in her friend's arms. Whatever truly happened here, it was clearly devastating to the young girl and horrifying for those around her. Number 3. Patricia Quisp. This footage is from a news broadcast in either Peru or Mexico. The video is rather disturbing as it shows 18-year-old Patricia convulsing from an alleged possession. Patricia had apparently been playing with the phone Ouija board app when she began exhibiting seizure-like behavior and shouting 666 in a deep and distorted voice, very different from her own. In this video of her being controlled by emergency responders, you can hear her yell 666 and let me go in a very profound and growling voice. It's not unlikely that this was a spiritual possession, as legends and tales that the younger and more gullible the victim is, the easier they are to possess. It's important to remember that something like this could also be a sign of mental illness or severe epilepsy that happened at a horribly inconvenient time. If you're at risk for any of these things, you should still stay away from the Ouija board. Opening your mind to evil forces will never turn out well, and messing around with the unknown with a weak or damaged psyche can potentially lead to actual real-world medical problems. Number 2. A trip gone wrong. 3 American friends traveled to Mexico to visit friends and relatives. While there, they played with an Ouija board with several others. The report claims that shortly after the game, the 3 friends began exhibiting extreme levels of psychosis. Believers claim that they became possessed by evil spirits or demonic beings. This video shows one of the younger women in the group in an ambulance. She growls, laughs, groans, and seems to be entirely incoherent to her surroundings. She had to be restrained and heavily sedated just to be transported to the nearest hospital. Drug testing showed no trace of drugs in the friend's system, and it took months for them to fully recover. Number 1. Japanese TV. These 3 girls playing with an Ouija board seem to be on some sort of Japanese television show. This isn't very surprising, since some of the scariest evidence of paranormal activity seems to come from Japanese game shows or investigation series. The girls have apparently been threatened by the spirit to not film this encounter, but it's clearly not their decision. The board or spirit threatens to curse the girls, and they are understandably shaken up. It doesn't take long for all hell to break loose. One of the girls claims to see another woman, and the group jumps, leaving 2 of the 3 younger girls on the floor. In their panic, the quarter they were using as a planchet begins to move swiftly on its own. Furniture in the room starts to fly around as if being thrown, and a strange, loud clicking can also be heard. The footage becomes more and more chaotic before the video ends, leaving the viewer with concern and a desire for more insight. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button, share, or write a comment. And don't forget to subscribe so that you can check out my next video.